Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at minority influence, which you need to know for AQA A-level psychology in the subtopic of social influence. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Minority influence is when a single person or small group, minority, is able to change the views of a larger group, majority, effectively converting others to their viewpoint. It is most likely to lead to internalization, where the viewpoint, both belief and behavior, is both publicly and privately accepted and changed. In order for the minority to persuade the majority to their views, they must show consistency, commitment, and flexibility. Consistency is when a minority repeatedly gives the same message and challenges the belief held by the majority. This could be an agreement between people in the minority group, synchronic consistency, they are all saying the same thing, and/or consistency over time, diachronic consistency, they have been saying the same thing for some time. This makes a majority reassess their belief and consider the issue more carefully, and so may adopt the minority point of view, as it draws attention to the minority view. Commitment is when a minority demonstrate their dedication to their belief by making sacrifices and show that they are willing to give up something for their belief, augmentation principle. This makes a majority take their argument more seriously, and so may adopt it as their own, as it shows that the minority is not acting out of self-interest. Flexibility is when a minority show they are willing to listen to the viewpoint of others. This makes a majority listen to the minority's viewpoint and take their arguments more seriously, and so may adopt their viewpoint as their own as the minority show that they are willing to compromise, which makes the minority seem less rigid and dogmatic. The snowball effect might then occur where the minority gradually turns into the majority as individuals become attracted to the minority viewpoint on the basis that they believe it is becoming more acceptable and more people are being to pay attention, after which the minority viewpoint gathers momentum and eventually becomes the majority. Finally, social cryptoamnesia will occur where after being successfully persuaded by a minority, people have a memory of change occurring but forget the origins of their new views, most likely because the individual had held negative views of the minority's viewpoint of which they have adopted, and instead of identifying with the minority group, individuals will disassociate the minority views from the people who promoted them. Minority influence has several strengths and limitations. A strength of minority influence is that there is research to support the idea that change in the majority's position does involve deeper processing of the minority's ideas. Martin et al., 2003, presented a message supporting a particular viewpoint and measured participants' agreement. One group of participants then heard a minority group agree with the initial view while another group heard a majority group agree with it. Participants were finally exposed to a conflicting view and attitudes were measured again. People were less willing to change their opinions if they had listened to a minority group than if they had listened to a majority group. This is a strength because it suggests that minority influence can lead to more profound cognitive engagement and resistance to attitude change compared to majority influence, highlighting the nuanced and impactful nature of minority viewpoints in shaping opinions and behaviors. However, this research does not reflect the complex nature of groups within the real world. For example, majorities usually have a lot more power and status than minorities. Minorities have very committed causes, they have to be because they often face very hostile opposition. These features are usually absent from minority influence research, the minority is simply the smallest group. This is a limitation because it suggests that traditional research on minority influence may oversimplify the real-world complexities of power dynamics and the challenges faced by minority groups, potentially underestimating the significant barriers and unique circumstances that can affect the impact and acceptance of minority viewpoints. A strength of minority influence is that there is meta-analysis research to support the idea that a minority can influence majority opinions through a variety of tactics. Wood et al., 1994, conducted a meta-analysis of over 97 minority groups and their influence. Of those who remained the most consistent, they were seen to be more influential. This suggests that presenting a consistent view is a minimum requirement for a minority trying to influence a majority. This is a strength because it suggests that presenting a consistent view is not only a key factor for minority groups to influence the majority but also highlights the strategic approach that can enhance the effectiveness of minority influence in shaping societal attitudes and behaviors. However, Wood et al.'s 1994 findings are correlational and therefore a cause-and-effect relationship cannot be established between one behavioral trait, consistency, and the level of influence. It may be other unknown factors that affect influence which are unaccounted for or unknown. This is a limitation because it suggests that the observed relationship between consistency in behavior and influence may not solely be attributed to a direct causal link, highlighting the need to consider and account for other potential influential factors that could impact the effectiveness of minority influence strategies. A strength of minority influence is that there are multiple psychologists that argue minority influence can lead to individuals making better decisions. Namath, 2010, argues that dissent in the form of minority opinion opens the mind. As a result of exposure to a minority position, people search for information, consider more options and make better decisions, and are more creative. Dissenters liberate people to say what they believe, and they stimulate divergent and creative thought even when they are wrong. This view is supported by the work of Van Dine and Saavedra, 1996, who studied the role of dissent in work groups, finding that groups had improved decision quality when exposed to a minority perspective. This is a strength because it suggests that embracing dissent and minority opinions can lead to improved decision-making, enhanced creativity, and a more thorough consideration of various perspectives, ultimately contributing to more effective and innovative outcomes within groups and organizations. A strength of minority influence is that it has explanatory power in real-world situations. Minority influence can help psychologists understand how terrorism radicalizes people to join their cause. Consistency and persistence is evident in many groups with continuous suicide bombings by Palestinian terrorists, Hamas, to overthrow the Israeli government. Commitment is another feature evident in terrorist groups as they show themselves as willing to sacrifice their lives for their own cause, forcing people to take notice and take them more seriously. Minority influence, however, does not always lead to change despite commitment, consistency, and flexibility being evident, and many groups including terrorists may be seen as deviant due to their beliefs or measures they take. This is a strength because it suggests that understanding how minority influence operates in real-world scenarios provides valuable insights into the mechanisms by which minority groups can exert influence and impact societal dynamics. By examining the consistency, commitment, and persuasive strategies employed by such groups, psychologists can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities involved in social influence processes, shedding light on how minority viewpoints can shape beliefs and behaviors, even in challenging and controversial contexts. A strength of minority influence is that there is research to support the role that flexibility plays in influencing a majority. Namath, 1986, investigated the idea of flexibility in which participants, in a stimulated jury situation, groups of 4, had to agree on the amount of compensation they would give to a victim of a ski lift accident. One of the participants in each group was a Confederate, and there were 2 conditions. 1. When the minority argued for a low rate of compensation and refused to change his position, inflexible. 2. When the minority argued for a low rate of compensation but compromised by offering a slightly higher rate of compensation, flexible. Namath found that in the inflexible condition, the minority had little or no effect on the majority. However, in the flexible condition, the majority was much more likely to compromise and change their view. This is a strength of minority influence because it suggests that the flexibility of the minority position can significantly impact the majority's decision-making process. It highlights the importance of not only holding a different viewpoint but also being willing to adjust and compromise slightly, which can lead to a greater influence on the majority's opinions and decisions. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.